how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you came to sit down with us. This should be fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. No problem. So we gotta ask, how did you get the name Grandmaster Jew?
So it started as an Instagram handle, like, I gotta say, 8+ years ago, maybe even 10+ years ago. I deleted my old Instagram, I started a new, and I was like, you know what, I'm Grandmaster Jew.
I hear that.
Because I went to yeshiva growing up, like Jewish private school, and I am like not the most like religious, like practicing Jew, but I was always like the most Jewish out of my friends. So I kind of went with like Grandmaster Jew. People would always call me Grandmaster, so I was like, let me just roll with that.
Gotcha. So it stuck.
Yeah.
And you grew up where?
I grew up in Great Neck, Long Island.
Okay.
Born and raised.
And when did you? And I know you love the hip hop game.
I do.
When did you start listening to hip hop? Who were some artists you started listening to?
When I was little, I mean, like, I have 2 older brothers, so like they heavily influenced a lot of things in my life, like sports also. But they've always listened to hip hop, like especially Biggie and Pac. I've always really also loved Tribe Called Quest.
Nice.
Big fan of Snoop Dogg. Like, he's my number one. Snoop Dogg's my number one.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
I will say.
You will smoke a blunt with him one day.
I would smoke many blunts with Snoop Dogg.
Sure. So in terms of some artists now, like who you've been listening to, what's been on your playlist?
Really, really heavy into like Ski Mask the Slump God right now.
Okay.
Definitely listening to Migs 718.
Shout out to Mix.
Comethazine, I don't know why I love him so much, but he just like goes in at like a level that I can't even explain, but I love.
Right.
And I'm so here for. I really like that really unique, like grungy, like super hard, like bangers that just make you sit in the car and be like, stuff like that.
That's what's up. So tell us a little bit about your journey into the radio game, how you got involved with that.
So I have always been really into music. Like in high school and growing up, I would sing. It's like very random, I know. I did like plays and stuff in high school, and I always did choir, but I always knew I wanted to be more on the industry side.
Right.
So like I did like internships at labels and stuff like that, but like I went to college not knowing exactly what I wanted my major to be and going towards music industry, and wound up somehow doing radio. But I've always loved radio. Literally just like being in a car feeling like you're with someone as opposed to like being by yourself.
Yeah.
And I really started my freshman year of college, like back in like 2010. I went to the radio station at the University of Miami. I walked in there, I was like, how do I get involved?
Gotcha.
And they gave me an application and I applied, and they were like, we want you to come in and interview. And I was like, cool.
Nice.
So I went in, I was super nervous. I'm always like super anxious. And then they liked me. They were like, we want you to come in, we want you to train. They gave me a nice dead shift, 1 to 3 a.m. Thursday mornings.
Nice.
And creepy people would call in and ask me to like come out to clubs with them in South Beach after my shift.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go because I was like 18. I was like, this is a little creepy, but it's okay. I don't know, I just really love it. Like sitting there, talking to myself, talking to people.
Gotcha.
People tuning in, texting comments, calling in.
It's a real Kodak experience.
Knowing that people are listening is really just like my biggest thing. It's really nice for me, like to have feedback.
No, for sure. You got that influence. And so tell us a little bit about what the radio station was like. You went to the University of Miami?
University of Miami, I went there for a little bit, and then I transferred back. And I went to Nassau Community College, where I also took a radio production class. Loved my teacher, and my teacher really pushed me into it because I started working with like Pro Tools and like audio editing software.
Okay.
And I had like a knack for it. My teacher was giving me a lot of really positive feedback, and I was like, should I be taking this radio thing more seriously? And I transferred to Hofstra. It's been a long journey for me. I transferred to Hofstra University, and they have this amazing program there, WRHU, and they're non-commercial radio, but you could hear them in the city, you could hear them everywhere. They broadcast like to a big area.
Gotcha.
and they've won Marconi Awards and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm not gonna get onto this radio station. Like, people have to be like crazy good at this stuff, and like they have reputable people working there.
Right.
Everybody on News 12 is at WRHU at Hofstra. So I went in, and again, I applied, and they were like, okay, come in for an interview. I interviewed. I got a call like 2 days later. I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm like, when are they gonna call me? Like, did I, like, just to take this course?
Right.
Because you get interviewed to take the class, and then you have to take the class and pass for 6 weeks and pass a test that's like this thick.
Okay.
Because it's like all the
Intense
radio
process.
rules, etc.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking the class. I didn't take the test because I had like a lot going on. And one of my teachers, who was like the head of the station, actually like reached out to me and was like, why didn't you finish the course? We want you to be on the station. Like, come take the test, like you're in. And I was like, this is amazing. So I started doing WRHU on air during the day, off the charts. I did an alt rock show. I did a late night metal show, which I recorded during the day and played at night because I didn't want to go to Hofstra so late. It was like at 4 o'clock in the morning, but thank God there are ways.
So they really had a good influence and pushed you into that direction.
Absolutely.
Super supportive.
Because from WRHU, it made me want to like take to the online aspect. So I took a class that I had started this podcast with a friend of mine. It was an EDM podcast.
Okay.
And we started it as a class project, but we continued that for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And we really took it, like, we went to Ultra together, Izu, like, I got drops from, like, Zed's Dead and, like, Subset and, like, a bunch of people that were just really dope.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see how you can progress if you really put yourself out there. And that's what I really loved about that. So that's why I really want to go into podcasting now, but also knowing how to market it and move forward with it. There's so many more things that can be done with all of that stuff now.
Gotcha.
Like, it's not just podcasting anymore. It's a whole brand that goes with it. And I'm so intrigued by that. It's like, I'm on air, but I want to do like my side projects. I want to do a ton of stuff. I want to be involved in new artists. I want to be involved in like showcases at different places. Like, that's what I have. I'm actually working on a project right now. With a friend of mine, and we're gonna start pushing it out. It's like two Jews from Long Island, like in hip hop, just really trying to do our thing, and we want to take that to the next level. We want to be a showcase. We want to be a brand, you know, stuff like that.
So are you gonna be interviewing other artists? What's like the what's the concept behind the podcast?
We want to do like current events in pop culture, but we also want to have artists on, and we want to have fun with it. And like, my biggest thing is that my whole life I've always wanted to just, all right, let me rewind. The best thing in life is knowing that you got a one-way ticket and you got to ride that ride at the best that you can.
Right.
Because it's like you only have one life.
Yeah.
You got to make the most of it.
For sure.
So you got to touch everything you can.
Yeah, and that's cool that, you know, you're already involved in the radio industry, but you're still taking on other projects, getting better at your craft.
Trying.
Yeah, I mean, that shows that you have a true passion for what you're doing, and that's what it takes to, you know, take it to the next level. And diving in a little bit into the radio culture, like, were there some people you looked up to that were really good radio personalities that you like learned from?
Angie Martinez.
Okay.
I'm sure that's an obvious answer, but she's unbelievable.
Sure.
Did you get to read her book ever?
I haven't.
Unbelievable. If you have a chance, definitely do it. She's so cool.
Yeah.
She literally grew up in radio, like around radio, like literally always just involved. And just the way that she got to where she was, and the way that she like got to LA at Tupac's house, like sitting with him, just chilling, like talking, having conversations, trying to figure out like the Biggie Tupac beef. Like, hearing that stuff is, I want to be a part of that, but in the new age, you know, like I want to meet the Biggies and the Tupacs of the future.
For sure.
And I want to be doing, I don't want to say that I want to do it just like Angie, because I want to do it like the way that I do it. I want to put my own spin on it. I want to be myself, but she's an inspiration for everyone.
You know, you've obviously learned a lot by being in the college radio, taking the classes and courses. And a lot of people want to get into the radio industry. They want to be personalities. What's some advice you would give them to someone that wants to get into it and become, let's say, a radio personality like yourself?
It takes a lot of hard work and a lot of grind and a lot of hustle, because you really can't stop. Like the second you stop, you start to sink. Like you got to keep pedaling, because it's like in every aspect of the music industry. If you want something badly enough, you have to put in the time, the effort, and the work. Like everything, you need to make that you have to eat, sleep. You have to eat, breathe, and sleep it.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm like getting tangled in my words.
That makes sense. You got to really like learn and.
But you also have to understand that you have to put in the work, and like the paycheck's not going to come immediately. Like all of that stuff takes time. Like if you really want to do what you love, then you're not in it for the money.
Gotcha. And then switching gears a little bit into Party 105, can you tell us a little bit about that station, what your show's like over there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on Party 105.3 every day, weekday, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m., which is dope. It's like mainly hip hop. It's like party hits and throwbacks. We do a lot of throwbacks, dope throwbacks. And we, put in like Kiana Lede, Ariana Grande. We have like a good mix.
Nice.
And I mean, I do my thing. Like I do my little talk breaks. I try to keep up with what's going on, the current like hip hop news and all that stuff.
For sure.
Who got arrested, who got shot, what's going on.
Got you. So you're still keeping up to date with current events and what's happening in the game.
It's hard, but you got to, you know what I mean? There's like always so much stuff coming out.
Right.
Like constantly, and it's so hard to keep up because sometimes things aren't so public.
Yeah.
But it's about like digging deep and finding, what you need to find, and finding things that will entertain people.
What are some sources of content that you use to just keep up with what's going on?
My most reliable source, I have to say, is my Facebook feed.
Okay.
People put the weirdest stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I really like to talk about weird stuff. So like Hidden Valley Ranch came out with like this whole like line of summer products, like bathing suits, floats, all this stuff. I was like talking about swimming on a bottle of ranch dressing in the middle of the pool in the summer, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like to know, because when I'm driving and I'm listening to the radio, I like to chuckle. Like if a personality makes me laugh, like that's a good show. Like if I sit there and listen to even like C100 in the morning, and like Elvis Duran is making a joke, like I know it's a good show if I'm sitting there, I'm like driving, tired, and I'm just like, that was funny. You know what I mean? Like you listen to like a phone tap or something like that.
Right.
Just even anything just to make someone laugh for a second in the day.
Gotcha.
I love that.
I got a difficult question for you, so take your time with this one. But if you could, we'll narrow it down for you. If there is a New York hip hop artist that you could interview, like who would it be? Who's like a dream interview of yours?
That's a tough one, because there's a lot of really good ones.
Yeah, we can do male and female to narrow it down.
I don't know if that'll make it easier or harder. Oh my God. Well, I mean, if Biggie was still alive, I really wish I could have sat down with him.
Yeah.
Can I say the Beastie Boys?
Yeah, for sure.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, I gotta say they're kind of my inspiration too. Like, little white Jews from Long Island. They went to DRS. They went to Yeshiva too. Dream big.
Sure. I didn't know that. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact.
Yeah.
The little Yeshiva boys.
For sure. I respect them. And then so you have this project coming out. You're doing your thing on the radio. Are there any other like projects outside of the radio that you've been working on that you're looking to pursue?
Stay tuned, because I got a lot on my mind.
Sure.
Like this won't be the last you hear of me. I guarantee it. Like I plan on taking this industry by storm.
No, that's what's up, because I feel like once what you're doing, you're building that personality, that presence, you're meeting the right people. You can be a platform for so many people, not just on the radio, but through events, shows, like, whatever.
I hope so. I kind of want to be on like a Nardwar level where I'm doing like really weird shit, but people know me for that.
His interviews are crazy.
Love it. He digs deeper than like anyone I know. Like I don't even know where he finds his information. Like he should have a website.
No, for sure.
Just for information.
Shout out to Nardwar.
Facts.
That's crazy. And then in terms of just some, things that people should realize, like, when they're doing interviews, like, because that's a skill too, right? Like, not only conducting the interview, but like the interviewee has to be on their toes too. Are there some things you realize, like maybe some skills or gems you can drop, like that are good pointers for when an artist is getting interviewed?
For artists that are being interviewed, I've also seen a lot of artists that are very quiet, very like, honestly, a lot of hip hop artists are doing lean and smoking, and sometimes they let that take effect.
Right.
And you see them sitting there like, very low. And I say, bring the energy, because if you're going for an interview, you're literally advertising yourself. You don't want to go to an interview and be like, hey, like I'm here.
Yeah.
You want to go and you want to bring it. You want to bring it just as you would on stage. You want to bring it to the interview.
Right.
So you want to have all the energy you possibly can. I would say, don't lose that.
Yeah.
Like don't sleep.
No, for sure.
Wake up.
It's important to really bring that energy, because you got to make sure that people are entertained. Like, you're in the entertainment business.
Interviews with people who have great energy end up just going well and just flowing better, and that's like you need something from the interviewee, not just the interviewer. Like, you can't just be doing all the work on one end.
Yeah, and let's flip it a little bit in terms of the person conducting the interview. What are some tips you would say for that person? For a guy like me.
I would say don't like go too hard off of like a script or like a page, because it always flows better when it's organic. And if you really pay attention and you listen, you really find things to really weave into throughout the interview. So it's also really fun to really dig and listen and hear like the small things that people say and play on that, because even when you think that they're not listening, you find out that they are.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like a subtle dance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's all a subtle dance.
Are there any people that conduct interviews you really, other than Angie Martinez, that you really like to check out, or people you like to listen to?
Well, I definitely said Nardwuar. I love his interviews because I think he's so interesting.
For sure.
It's also a tough question because I just feel like I'm all over the place watching interviews, just seeing content constantly in my face.
Or is there any like content that you really like, you watch a lot that helps you get some motivation?
I'm a TMZ whore.
Okay.
I'm always on TMZ.
Yeah.
They're always in they're always in that. They're always there.
They're like ESPN of pop culture.
Literally.
No, for sure.
But that's very cliche. But I mean, like, I'm on Instagram a lot with like the different pages, like the Music Industry Report, Level Up Hip Hop.
Okay.
You take it where you can get it.
Yeah.
You can't just have one source.
No, Music Industry Report and Level Up Hip Hop are good, and yeah, that's an important, because it's like you're not necessarily a written journalist, but you're still like, you gotta have that constant education of the market and what's happening.
And I'm also like a meme freak, so I'm constantly on Instagram posting memes to my story, like trying to get people to laugh. Like people have reached out to me before saying like, oh, thank you so much for like posting the memes that you post. Like, you had me cracking up today. And I'm like, good. That's what I wanted. That's it. You made my day.
No, for sure. Are you a fan of The Breakfast Club and Charlamagne the God?
I like Charlamagne.
Yeah.
I do. I think he's really funny, and he definitely he projects himself very well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying.
I recently read his book. I thought it was interesting.
The one about mental health?
Yeah, exactly.
What did you think about it? I haven't gotten a chance.
I thought it was really interesting, because it touched, especially in the African American community, it's like those are things you don't really talk about, like mental health, so it's kind of good to bring that to the forefront. You can be vulnerable about what's going on,
I really love the light that they're putting on mental health awareness nowadays, because it's definitely a lot greater now than it used to be. Like, now you could take a mental health day from work.
Yeah.
Like, back in the day, if you're like, I need a mental health day, they're like, what are you, crazy? Like, what are you, a bitch? Like, no, go back to work.
For sure.
Don't let that shit bother you. Like, you have to learn how to tune that stuff out. Like, that's just important in life, because you can't always let things affect you and affect your work ethic. But there is always time to be had to take for yourself to clear your head.
No, I got you.
Take care of your mental health.
That's definitely important, especially if you're a creative. You got to have that like good space, or then you can't really you're not on your A game.
Yeah.
You're not there. And I wanted to I'm a big fan of Miami. And so when you were down in South Beach, were you going to the clubs at all? Like, what was some of your spots down there?
Back in the day when Story was Amnesia and had those little bleachers on the side where you had like a whole, that was so much fun. I used to go there all the time. I did Space. One night, I have to say a memorable night about Space, and I love Space because it's like only open on like Saturday nights and it's open until like Sunday at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
I went out one night and I just like had like I just like wasn't feeling well. So I like went home back to my apartment, took a nap, woke up at like 8 a.m. and like went and met my friends at Space, like, and was just there till 12. Like, love it. You walk out, you go to McDonald's, you're like, had a great night.
Yeah, that's what's up. Get a full night of sleep and go back.
Yeah, and as I was in Miami, that's when like I feel like Brickell was kind of really coming up and like really, really just popping up like a wildfire because that town was built so fast.
For sure.
And it's so fun.
What do you like? Do you like going out more in New York, Miami, or is it just like so different?
It's so different.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I don't know, New York and Miami not so much in the summertime, but mostly I like going out in Miami because it's warm.
Right.
And I hate the cold, but I'm here and I bear it. I bear with it, but I'm a warm body for sure.
No, I hear that because I went to Story once, and I think it was like my boy's bachelor party, and they had the bottle waitresses coming down on it was like just wild. Like they do it on another level.
It's a crazy show.
Yeah.
Those bottle waitresses, I really got to give them credit. I shout out to bottle waitresses because they have so much confidence.
Yeah.
And like they just come out, dance with the little flame. They don't get burned. They might get burned.
Yeah.
I don't know. They put themselves out there every day.
And they're making.
It's like a level of confidence I admire for sure.
I heard a story at Live. These bottle waitresses are pulling in north of $100K a year in tips.
I believe that.
Yeah,
like. Think about the people that go to Live.
Exactly. Like that's crazy down there. And then like I know since you're in the industry, like you gotta network and get your face out there and meet a lot of people. New York is such a great place to do that because everything's kind of close together, you know? Like, what are some ways that you effectively go out and just kind of meet the right people and network and get your name out there?
Literally, you just have to be out there. It's so hard to like specify. For me specifically, I was out of college looking for a job for 8 months. I found a job at a recording studio. I was the GM of a recording studio for a little bit, and a friend of mine had told me that Hip Hop Mike was looking for an assistant.
Okay.
And I was very fortunate to be given that opportunity to work with Hip Hop Mike. I'm so grateful for everything that he's done for me. I worked with him for like 9 months, 10 months, and just running around everywhere, just being present 24/7, like doing, just being in the mix.
Yeah.
Is just, you just gotta be there. And also, obviously it's important to put yourself out there when you're there, but just being there is the first step.
No, for sure. That must have been a great experience working with him, you know, because
it was unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot for the culture, pushing a lot of records, really.
He's an amazing human being. He's gonna do great things. He's already doing great things, but I know he has so much more room to blow up, and he's just a great inspiration for the culture, absolutely. And I owe him everything.
Yeah, and that's kind of a good transition into radio because the DJ is obviously such a massive aspect of the radio, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
What have you seen, especially like working with someone like Hip Hop Mike, and so many people want to be a DJ, like what are some tips you maybe see just from your experience of how to kind of take it to that next level in becoming a DJ?
Oh, that's awesome. You're giving me pressing questions. Becoming a DJ, it's hard because, there's a lot of DJs out there.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a DJ. It's about standing out, but also putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Doing stuff for free just for the look, because you have to put in the grunt work to get where you want to be.
Yeah.
No paycheck is ever going to come easy.
Yeah.
So, even me, like I worked for months. It's all grunt work. No, like very, very little. Like you just got to put in the time and the effort.
Yeah, that's interesting because
I know I keep saying it a lot, I keep repeating it, but
No,
it's so important.
It's very true, because especially when you're first starting out, what a lot of people don't understand, especially about the entertainment industry, is that you gotta look, like we said in the last interview, you gotta look past the paycheck and more towards the connection and building with other people.
Yeah, because if you're in the music industry, you're not in it because you like have to be here. You're in it because you want to be here, and this is what you love. Most likely. I mean, I don't know. Some people might have just fallen into it. Lucky them, I feel like. But
yeah, you know, you gotta, because you know, it's really paying your dues a lot in the beginning, and meeting the right people, growing your Rolodex, and you know, not having to look for that paycheck is difficult, but it's important, and that will show if this is really for you or not.
yeah, you got to be hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be hungry.
No, for sure. In terms of just some outside stuff you were doing outside of the radio and music industry, like, let's say it's a Friday night, Saturday night in New York, like, are you more of a chill at home type of person? You like to like hit the scene? Like,
It really depends on the day, because like some nights I'm just like chilling with like my homies at their at a friend's house, like smoking, chilling, whatever.
Yeah.
But I like to go out. Like I like to have fun. I like to dance.
No.
I like to party. So I go out in the city too.
I'm asking because I want to see like what are some new hot spots that you might have been hitting in the city that are going on, because it's been tough recently for me. There's so much going on, you know. There's a spot that I love in New York City. It's called Arthur's Tavern. It's in the West Village. Arthur's Tavern.
It's a jazz bar.
Jazz bar.
It is the best.
Very
I've been going there for years. I actually just did my birthday there last summer.
Okay.
I love Arthur's. If you have a chance, you have to go check it out.
Word. Shout out to Arthur's Tavern. That sounds like a little chill oasis, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
I just love it. It's such a chill spot. You like get a drink. The band is always good. They give such great vibes. So cool.
And I wanted to circle back a little bit about your EDM show that you were doing.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. I was a big fan, I still am, of EDM. R.I.P. to Avicii, was one of my favorites.
Facts. I saw Avicii really early on at Ultra back in like 2011.
Really?
2010.
Did you see the documentary on him?
I did not.
Yeah, check that out on Netflix. Like, he's just a genius, you know. Like,
He's brilliant though.
Yeah, and he doesn't get enough credit. But I just seen like the EDM, it was kind of like shooting up. I feel like it spikes like so quickly that it's like, I don't know.
It blended in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know what you're saying. You want to know if it died or not.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think it died. Like,
it didn't.
It's just like, that's a good way to put it.
It found its
like,
place.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like the thing about EDM, and like if you can listen to songs without lyrics, EDM is for you.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you can't, most of the EDM music is not.
Right.
But a lot of the times, a producer will put out a beat, an artist will find it and be like, hey, let me jump on this track.
Right, right.
And like that's the beauty of EDM.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, when we were doing the Electric Revolution, we were doing like trap and like dubstep and more like that really interesting stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I really love really funky, unique, crazy beats that are just like you turn it on and you're like, what is that?
Yeah, yeah.
But we had a lot of fun with it. It was an amazing show. It was an amazing experience. It was time. You know, we were just moving into different things. He's doing amazing now, Chewy. I'm going to plug him real quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to DK, DQE.
Okay.
3 boys, Chewy, Josh, and Nelson. And they're killing it. They're kicking ass and taking names.
Shout out to them.
They're on the rise.
Now that's what's up, because it's like I see you're just interested in a lot of different forms of music, which is awesome.
Everything.
You know, very versatile with your personality. Like even you were doing a metal show, you were saying, for a minute.
Yeah, I don't really personally, I don't want to give off the wrong impression. I don't personally listen to metal, but I don't not listen to it.
Yeah,
You know, like I've listened to like Asking Alexandria, which is like, I guess on that level. I used to be really into alternative rock in high school.
Okay.
Like really into it, like Bamboozle. Like I went to like every concert.
For sure.
Main artists I would say in high school were like 303, Cobra Starship, Motion City Soundtrack, Weezer, like along the lines of that.
Weezer,
Like,
Beverly Hills. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where I want to be, man. It's a fact, though.
I really like what you said about EDM blending in, because I've seen that happen. Because now, I think it was like at Marquee on like a night over there, they kind of blended in perfectly. Kind of what you're saying, if you want to use like a live human test for it, they might have an EDM DJ that's killing it with like Ty Dolla $ign performing,
Right.
you know, like it's
Like, I mean, listen, Skrillex and Justin Bieber.
Right.
I mean, Jack U and Justin Bieber. I mean, just like Steve Aoki and like every artist.
Right.
DJ Snake.
Skrillex and
Brand new.
Red
DJ
Fox.
Snake, Blueface, Sheck West. That
Yeah.
song Enzo.
yeah.
That's EDM kind of.
No, for sure. Any EDM producers you're really into that, you know, or you were or still are a big fan of?
My number one all-time favorite DJ is Skrillex because he is like the hardest working like guy. He has not taken one break since he started.
Yeah.
I admire him so much.
Yeah, that's a great point. He's been super consistent.
And he just puts out smash after smash. Like
Yeah.
everything he touches is gold.
No, for sure, because I really respect that grind because, you know, it's very, there's so much traveling, it really wears and tears on you.
Oh yeah, and I mean Avicii was the perfect example of that.
Exactly.
He wanted to retire because he couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And then he didn't, and it's unfortunate. May he
'Cause-
rest in peace.
And that's kind of the, I don't know if the responsibility is the right word, but that's what comes with success. Because once you're at that level, now it's like, all right, you're getting paid $100,000 a show. Like, you got a manager, you got a booking agent, and then he kind of took that responsibility home.
Yeah, and you need self-control,
Yeah.
and you need, it's hard. You're in an
Yeah.
industry, a fast industry. Like the EDM world is
Super
crazy.
Yeah, super fast.
And like even being in it for the short amount of time that I was, you know, like
Right.
it's a fast life. Even hip hop is a fast life. Like
Speaking of like EDM and hip hop and blending, in terms of the live experience, are you a big fan of festivals and the big concerts they put on?
I do love festivals.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to watch people at festivals.
Yeah.
Like people really just do the craziest shit at festivals. They wear the craziest shit, they do the craziest shit. I love seeing all the different walks of life that come together for festivals. Like you see older people, younger people all just enjoying it. Sometimes you even see kids at music festivals.
Yeah. No, that melting pot is really interesting.
And it's really cool to see like how people are digesting this culture.
Yeah. I mean, that's why music and entertainment is so special. It just brings all walks of life together in a
beautiful
peaceful way,
thing.
just having a good ass time.
Absolutely.
I saw this video of I think it was at the Shore Club in South Beach, and I think they do like tech house there.
Yeah.
And everyone was like young, and then there was like this just old guy, like
Love
really
it.
old, like 80s, just killing it.
You
know?
always see
Yeah.
videos of like older people just like dancing and having the time of their life because
Right.
they live their life.
No,
They know
for
what it is. Like
living their best life.
good
after
music is
shit.
good music. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you can palate it, it's yours.
But there is a dark side to these festivals too. You know, it can
Absolutely.
be like really intense out there. They've
A lot
had
of
some-
drugs,
yeah.
a lot of violence, but it's all of life is about learning how to be responsible and take responsibility
Yeah.
and knowing how to act in public and it all plays out.
Yeah.
There's always going to be someone that, you know, that does the wrong thing or like, you know, messes it up for some people and
For sure, that's especially if you're working in the entertainment industry. What some people who have had success told me is like, no matter where you are, like someone's watching. Always just kind of be in control of your stuff, you know.
don't do today what you wouldn't want to read what you wouldn't want to read in the paper tomorrow.
Seriously, words to live by.
Facts,
Right there.
yes.
You don't want to be that girl. I think it was at Ultra Fest who was making out with that tree or something.
Nobody that I talk to ever knows what I'm talking about when I say that. I know exactly what video
seen
you're
that.
talking about.
That's
Yeah, she was
wild.
dancing to KDB. I think I heard that she was on like acid and Molly or something.
So this is the question, right? I've had this debate with a lot of people. I'm thinking it's acid. What drug do you think this girl was on? You know?
I think it was like a mulatto cocktail
So
of
you think it
drugs.
was
I
just
don't think
straight up
that was.
cocktail?
I don't think that was one drug.
Yeah, that had to be a wild cocktail that just because I've seen a lot of people do things.
I don't, like
make it
maybe
out,
some
but
like
it's really
maybe
wild.
someone like salt bathed some crack in there too. Like she was really going to town on that tree.
Yeah, that was really wild. What's the last festival you've been to?
I was actually just at Rollin' Loud in Miami. And a
Okay.
lot of stuff went
That
down there.
was wild.
That was a fun fest for
Jesus.
sure.
Kodak, what are you doing, man?
Kodak, what is he doing any time? Like, he needs to step out of the limelight and like put a shade over himself for a while and just make music and just like not talk.
Seriously, because
he's making it bad.
Yeah,
he's making it bad for himself.
Crazy.
Well, Wayne had an issue. He canceled his set. I mean, a bunch of people. Why NBA YoungBoy got shot at.
Yeah, there was just...
Didn't Young Thug also got shot at?
Yeah,
we were at the festival, and I was like sitting in the artist guest area, and all of a sudden I just see like a huge swarm of people go past like the entryway. I'm like, what's happening? Because it was towards the exit.
Yeah.
And one person runs into the area and goes, shots fired, shots fired. So everyone's freaking out. And I'm like running into the like porta potty, like shutting the door. Yeah. And like I'm in there with like 6 other women freaking out.
Jesus.
Nothing happened. Like people kind of blew it out of proportion. There was a fight and I think the fireworks went off and I don't think that there was actually a gun or anything, but it can get crazy like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time the panic comes from the panic. Like, you don't want to get trampled. So, like, yeah, I got up and I started running, too, because I didn't want to get trampled. Like, I don't want someone to, like, come running up all over me. Like,
you heard it here. If you hear shots fired, go to a porta potty and just...
No, just be safe. Why do we even have to have shots fired? Why can't we just have a good time?
Yeah, it's getting wild out there. I think people need to just...
Especially because people pay money to go to these festivals.
Yeah,
and they're not cheap. Like, and people want to be there. Don't ruin their good time.
For sure. So I've been saving this question kind of towards the end, but I wanted to ask, what was your take on the whole Fyre Festival situation? Because I feel like you would be an interesting person to have a conversation about this wild guy, you know? You saw the documentary?
Poor Billy McFarland, that guy is never going to hear the end of it. But also poor Ja Rule, because he got involved in a really just awkward situation.
Seriously.
And now he wants to revive it, which I think is cool, like, you know, but is it going to work?
Wait, he's trying to revive it?
Yeah, I heard that he was trying to do like a Fyre Fest 2.0. What did I think? I mean, like, can you imagine paying all that money for a VIP package and showing up like, yes, I'm going to have this luxury tent. I'm going to swim with the piggies in this like clear blue ocean on this private island. You get there and it's like a FEMA camp. Like, it doesn't look right.
I have two takes on this. This could either be genius in the fact like he pulls it off and it's like the best festival ever.
He had all the advertising already.
Yeah, exactly. It could be genius in that way, or it's like he's literally gonna make this the worst festival ever and just document it all this time. So we're like, you know, or maybe he does a live feed like, look how bad this is about to
But the thing is, it's going to be easy for him to redeem himself after the shit show that was Fyre Fest.
Yeah.
Because, like, anything beats a cheese sandwich in a styrofoam container. Like,
you know any people that bought tickets to this
I don't,
shit show?
But I really wish that I did.
Yeah. That means you have a good circle of friends, that they, like, didn't fall into that trap.
Yeah, I guess.
Say that's a good thing.
It's crazy to me that there are people out there with that much money that could be that stupid.
Yeah, and it's funny... When I was watching the documentary, that girl who was actually chilling in that like nice villa and had like no problems, you know. Well, so shout out to her. She actually had a good time.
Well, one person out of like 500.
But I feel like Billy could have. He kind of killed it when he got up and like just turned it all into chaos. You know?
The only thing that they asked him to do was to not mention the fact that it was Pablo Escobar's private island.
Right.
Like that's really it. That's all he had to do, and that's the only thing that he did. So, I mean, listen, just don't be Billy McFarland and do stupid shit that when people tell you not to do it.
Yeah, and then after he did that, he continued to, like, you know,
push.
I would say the one thing about him, he's a true entrepreneur in the fact that he is resilient.
Yeah.
I hear he's teaching a class on music entrepreneurship in jail.
He's got the ideas.
Yeah,
he's definitely got it. You know, there's definitely something there. He's just kind of a scumbag.
Yeah, he's got to work on his follow through a lot.
He just he's not reliable.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's the outcome of Fyre Fest. Don't work with Billy McFarland.
No,
because he had that other company too, that credit card company,
Magnesis. Yeah.
That also screwed a ton of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're gonna get you to the Grammys.
Right.
Chill. The Met Gala, like stuff like you're not supposed to promise people because like that's not your right.
I think what he did was he realized, and there is a huge opportunity that people want to buy into exclusive experiences. He just didn't kind of have that.
But if you don't have if you don't have the connection to that exclusive experience, you can't offer the exclusive
you can't just
experience.
Create one and just buy a ticket on StubHub, you know?
Yeah, it's like I want to live in the Versace mansion for the rest of my life. That would be so lit.
Right.
But like, I'm not just gonna walk in there and be like, I live here now. This is my house.
No.
Leave. You know,
No,
like
seriously. But just to sum things up, hypothetical question. We like to give them 10 grand question. In New York, how would you spend that money? You and some friends, a whole day. What would you do?
me and some friends.
Yeah.
I would make sure that me and some friends had a good ass time.
Word
and I'm
up.
talking about like my fam. I would make sure that I spoiled the shit out of my friends and family.
Any restaurants in particular you say?
No, there's so many in the city. You never know. I honestly really like to wander around and like stumble into restaurants.
You like the spontaneous
I like
vibe.
to discover.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna plug a restaurant, Murray's Cheese Bar.
Okay.
I love cheese.
Murray's Cheese Bar.
I just love cheese. That place is poppin'. Really great fondue also.
You're really putting some spots on today. Murray's Cheese Bar. We got Arthur's Tavern, right?
Yes.
Okay. So 2 spots I gotta hit.
Nice.
I always like that. That's one of my favorite things about being a New Yorker. You can think you saw all the spots, but there's always a new one that's popping up. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And the best part about being in New York is all the culture and everything that surrounds you. Like everything is so unique. You can find literally everything. Like you want a ramen burger,
Yeah.
you got it. You want rolled ice cream that like tastes like a flamin' hot Cheeto. I don't know. Like you can find all that.
And it won't even just be a regular one. It'll be like the best one you've ever had.
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like the better than the country of its origin.
And I'm a foodie. Like I love food. Honestly, you give me 10 grand and you put me in NYC, I'm spending probably 80% of that on food.
Hell yeah.
Maybe 20% on weed.
Yeah. No. I'd go strippers, but we'll cut that out.
You know, male strippers, why not? Who doesn't like a good male stripper every now and then?
Oh, man, that's funny. And then last question for you. What are some things other than like the culture and all that of radio that what are some things that you just love the most about being on air, like that whole experience, because it's so unique?
This is gonna sound so corny, but what I love the most about being on air is that it was my dream and I made it happen.
For sure. Yeah, that's not cheesy at all. That that's a beautiful thing about life, that you can actually, if you work hard and are strategic and practical, you can turn that dream into reality. And that's what
Absolutely,
it's all
and
about.
I know that I'm like in the beginning stages of like where I'm going,
No,
but
for
like
sure.
I know like that I have the confidence and the drive like to become like something big, and I really hope that that's not all in my head.
No, definitely not. You're going places. You're going to be super successful. And
From your lips to God's ears.
I appreciate you sitting down with us. Please let the people know your Instagram or social media handles so they can
Follow me on Instagram at GrandmastaJew, GrandmastaJew.
Thank you for sitting down with us. This
Thank you
was
so
awesome.
much.
No problem. That's a wrap.
That's so dope.